ultimately their choice on what they wanted to do with the rest of their lives. Huh? Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. You are uh oh, you must be the audience that Shai mentioned earlier. Please come in. Sorry, my office is kind of a mess, but sit anywhere you'd like. I have much to discuss with you. Hello, everybody. My name is Mansa, and welcome to a brand new series that I'm calling The Pages of Paradox. Basically, I'm talking about my original characters and world building and what I've been doing for the last, almost 2 decades writing my characters and stories. And I just wanted to talk about them with somebody because I am dying to talk about my silly little guys in my head. Well, in character, they're people I write about from the past, present, and future. But yeah. So I want you guys to have a distinction because sometimes I may talk to you in character. So Manta would be like, "Oh, welcome to my office," or "I talked to the goddess this morning," and blah 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 blah. So have a distinction between that and the real life person, because remember, at the end of the day, that there is always a real life person who creates this media that you're watching, face and voice behind the character, and etc. etc. This character that you're seeing, I have had since 2010 and has gone through multiple redesigns, but it's still me at the end of the day. This is how I represent myself creatively. So, yes, please remember that I am real, I make mistakes, and I'm only human. And yeah, be nice, please. That being said, I would like to begin by talking about my characters. I want to go in chronological order of the events of the stories. Please remember that this story is subjected to change because sometimes I change lores and I change characters. I take things out, I put them in, etc., etc. So this story is not like 100%. Story is not like 100% like locked in. Please be respectful about my characters and world building and everything I do. I had the last say when it comes to my characters because they're mine. I know how they act, they talk, they work, etc. So again, anything I say is the last and final word about my OC. That being said, the floor is open to talk about my OCs. Ask me questions, talk, just like have conversations about them. You can have your own interpretation of them, etc. Just don't be weird about my OCs. Okay? I'm going to scooch over here so that you can see the pictures that I'm going to show you because I'm a visionary writer and that's very helpful. And I like showing you my art. Anyways, so let's talk about the very beginning of Paradox Paradise. The very first two beings of the entire universe was our celestial gods, Hina, the god of the sun, and Neoma, the goddess of the moon. Legend has it that Hina, the god of the sun, was the very first spark of the universe. Born from nothing but stardust, rocks, ice, and gas. Awakening as a protostar, he remained in the empty void for a long, long time. There were no other stars to surround him. He was lonely. Just the black, empty, endless void. He evolved, and he grew a body. He now was a newborn star. His ears, tail, and wings sprouted. The very first creature of the universe was known as a Starian. We're not very creative, are we here? We just kind of slap EN at the end of everything, so get used to that. He would later take on more of a functional body and mimic those of the Earthians, also known as humans. When the universe was established, he used his powers with Neoma to create the 7 planets known as Paradox. He also used his power to create a very bright ball of heat and light called the sun. He controlled the warmth and the light of the day. Neoma, also known as the goddess of the moon and the second spark of the universe next to Hina, from the moment she opened her eyes she knew she was not alone. She too was a Starian, but also changed her body, just like Hina's, to a human body as they found it more functional. Neoma used her powers to create a cold white ball that reflected off the sun, known as the moon, and when the universe was established, she controlled the moon and used it to create the night and allow people of Paradox to rest. She had a son with Hina. More on that later, because that goes crazy. So, both Neoma and Hina used their energy to create the 7 planets known as Paradox Paradise. Paradox Paradise was the name of their new universe. Between the two, there was a large debate on what they wanted to name the world. Neoma wanted to call it Blitz Paradise, and Hina wanted to call it Paradox Flame. And they came to an agreement and called it Paradox Paradise instead, a fitting name for such a mysterious and peaceful world. I live here. It's not peaceful at all. Anyways, Hina was the first initial spawn the star, which meant he lingered in the void of space alone for ages. Hina and Neoma lived in harmony for many eons, and when the seven planets finally had been established and started to show signs of life, they knew they had succeeded, and they began creating their own planets and their perfect world, or what they conceived to be a perfect world, of course. Paradox Paradise are secret worlds that came to be a few thousand years ago. Paradox is made up of 7 worlds. All the worlds are attached to each other for easy travel between the worlds and the people, because they wanted to make sure that the people are very connected to each other. Though Paradox is still fairly new, and much of its advancements is thanks to Earth society and their existing creations, a lot of what was taken was inspired, quote unquote, by the gods to just kind of yoink the concepts from Earth and just throw it onto their planet. Because, hey, it's easier. Something's already been made. Just kind of replicate it in your own way and just throw it in there, right? All the stars in the sky are people of past lives. They will have their own society in the afterworld. Their souls can take physical form as well. Reincarnation is really rare, though, but the chances are never zero. There are souls that are still bound to the world and unable to achieve the true afterlife, stuck as ghosts, vampires, or any other undead kind of creatures. There has been only currently one case of a ghost from Earth making its way to Paradox. His name is Zero, and he's a very rare case that I got to talk with him about and write his story down. It's kind of interesting. I can't wait to tell you about it. There's still many mysteries and anomalies that happen in Paradox that's still kind of unexplained, but you gotta be careful because they might get you. And who's they? Oh, you'll find out. You know, something that we don't talk a lot about here, and I feel like it should be brought up more because I think it's really interesting, even though there isn't really that much on it or why it exists or how, is the parallel rift. Our world is kept a secret by everyone here. So anyone on Earth who blabs about Paradox is not allowed here. And anyone who goes from Paradox to Earth and kind of like tells everyone about our existence is no longer allowed back, or they're penalized to never leave Paradox again. Kind of foreshadows something happened because of that, but we'll get into that way later. So because while making the 7 planets, Neoma and Hina found out that their magic has been leaping through this rift for a long time and affecting people of Earth from the Milky Way, that they decided to jump through the parallel rift themselves and go visit Earth. And then they went to go and make sure that no anomalies happened because of their magic on Earth, which they did find that happened, yes. There's also the problem of trying to take it back to their planet because they're like, oh God, our magic affected the Earth. So how about we just yoink them back to our planet, kind of like kidnap them, and be like, hey, you actually belong to us. So we're gonna, well, your magic belongs to us, not you, but like, your the magic that affected you belongs to us. So we're just gonna like yoink you back because we can't have people finding out about our world. And with the parallel rift, a long time later, that Neoma and Hina decided to make a fast travel between the two worlds using a train station we call CT or seat. Sea, like it's like sea, like the water, like sea, seat. I don't know. But using this travel, by the way, between the two worlds, things will change. So what happens between the worlds when you travel is that every time you travel, you get turned into something different because Earth and Paradox are so different between life forms and stuff that we basically change to fit Earth's atmosphere. So let's say you're a dragon, you might turn into like a lizard or a dog or something. To say, besides that, the system is just to keep Paradox a secret and Paradox safe. So anything unnatural from our world crossing over to Earth will change to fit Earth's non-weirdness. Oh, remember how earlier I told you not to blab about the existence of Paradox to Earth and their like consequences? Take this with a grain of salt because this is written like years ago, so I'm not sure if it's still accurate to this day. But basically, there are some kind of like warning offenses. So the first time it happens, you're left off with a warning at the station. The second time it happens, you're temporarily kicked out of the entering the rift for 6 months. The third time it happens, there are basically your permanent ban, and the last time, if you still do it, even if you were banned 3 times, you might be kind of held under crime, and there can be really bad consequences. And if you keep doing it repeatedly, even after the 3 or 4 warnings, like if you do it like for like a 6th time or something, dog, I can't lie, you might be killed. I'm not trying to be like, oh no, I'm being real. Nehemiah and Hannah are kind of scary. I'm just saying. Like, we don't even have that many laws around here. I'm not gonna lie, but like still. Destinies and prophecies are important to this world, so if you mess it with it, you might face prison or death. Crazy, I know, or unaliving, as you people say. I don't care. Like, I ain't getting monetized. Oh, that's right, prophecies. I have yet to talk to you about prophecies. They're very important in this world. Prophecies are one of the most important aspects of this world. Your prophecies are vague, but there is a purpose for you to fulfill. This concept was created by Neoma and Hina, but due to the sheer size of population in their universe, they handed this task to the secondary gods. Shai, the goddess of time, had one of the bigger responsibilities to help make sure that these prophecies were delivered, and using the oracle, who also talks between the gods and the mortals. Which is funny because the gods are not immortal either. Oh, did I not mention that the gods can die? Funny, huh? Anyways, at the age of 7, you are given your prophecy and you are meant to begin your search for what that means and your purpose in life. Prophecies present itself differently and how your message is sent to you. If you are not from a paradox originally, like our 3 leaders, your prophecy is given to you by an oracle, sent by the gods. Every prophecy is written by a star, and each prophecy is meant to be a different path. And remember, stars are people of the past lives. Like the gods used to write the prophecies themselves, but they handed that task over to Shai and the gods, the afterlife people. So that's their job now. There's a 2% chance that the stars are wrong about your destined prophecy, and there's no guarantee an individual can fulfill it. Isn't that kind of harsh, though? You know, your entire life has been like this prophecy, but you were unable to even attain it by the end of your life. That's kind of sad, thinking about it. There are times where a code black occurs in prophecies. You've heard of code red in a state of panic and emergency, but code black is the worst outcome of this prophecy system. There are many possibilities with the code black. The damage of prophecy that is far beyond fixing. Corruption of an individual and their prophecy. Death of an individual that was meant to help another prophecy. The prophecy that was never meant to be. The stray far from the intended path. Once a prophecy is fulfilled, you've done your duty as, your life, and you can retire. You can die or just kind of, wow, that was kind of, sorry. Once a prophecy is fulfilled, you've done your duty and you can now retire without restrictions. So that's mainly the world building I wanted to talk about with you, because there's a lot more about the gods once again. So I will get into the gods in a bit. So give me a moment to skim through my notes. Oh yes, so the gods. I've talked about a few of them, Neoma, Hina, and all of them, but let me introduce you to their son. Meet their son, Kydra. Kydra was a god that was created from both Neoma and Hina. They gave birth to him a long, long time ago, and he was a very powerful entity, but his magic was so unstable because both parents had such strong magic that it actually ended up killing him. He lived to be about 360 years old. I was told that he looked physically like in his 20s, and I met him once using the time powers that Shai gave me. So he was a very nice guy. I talked to him a little bit, and I kind of saw his face because there's some things I just cannot tell people, of course, because time travel is really weird and you don't want to break anything. So I had to witness things. I might need a lot of therapy after this job. Anyways, yes. So there's a very big mystery around Kydra. No one knows where he's gone. Even I can't use future vision to find out where Kydra is. He's kind of locked away in some place that no one knows where he is, not even me or the goddess of time. So he's kind of an anomaly right now, and people have been looking for him for almost 500 years. Some say that they killed him. Who's they? Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? The death of Kydra actually caused a massive domino effect that is still felt to this day. The gods have never gotten over their son's death and probably never will. So they kind of wreak havoc right now. I can't lie. So yeah, they made a lot of these laws and things just to caution over the death of Kydra. As you can see at this drawing depicting their Astarian forms, they actually got into a massive fight. This fight is known as the Battle of Equinox, where the sun and the moon go head to head, battling each other over some grief. Neoma actually wanted to try and stop Hina because Hina was trying to take over the entire world with just the sun and neglecting the moon, saying that this is what his son would have wanted. He would have wanted the sun all day, every day, no night or anything. And Neoma was like, "You're insane, stop that." And Hina was like, "Only the sun can rule, no moon." And Neoma said that you're destroying the planets that we made together, because if you only have the sun and no moon, no one will ever rest. Plants will be dying and drying out, and you will start fires. They started continuously fighting. And the people who lived on these planets at this time were starting to call out to the stars to tell them and plead to get the gods to stop fighting, because if they do that, the planets will be destroyed and they will not be any more. For something to come and help get these two gods straight, because their world is in jeopardy and their loved ones are also in jeopardy as they watch up from, the afterlife. And guess what? Something did happen. Something good happened. Someone happened. Bear in mind that Kydra, their son, who passed away, was actually the god of the eclipse, like the original rightful owner of the god of the eclipse. Now, because of that, and because that he's gone now, they had to just kind of remove it, and they were like, there's no god of eclipse anymore. There's never going to be another god of eclipse. Until something happened. During their fight, something stopped the two from colliding and basically everything. That actually was found to be fragments of Kydra in Sol. His name was Sol, and he's the new god of the eclipse. Poor guy was just kind of thrown in there to save the world, and then just kind of exist. And then Neoma and Hina kept seeing them as Kydra, which he isn't. But well, kinda. He kinda is. He has fragments of Kydra, so he's kind of like their brother-ish twin. I don't know, but yeah. So he kind of is related to Kydra since he is made of his soul, like fragments of it. No one still has any idea where his fragments came from, but they all know is that Kydra is still out there. So they're kind of still searching. The gods have never given up, and they'll probably never give up on finding Kydra until the end of the world, which I know is coming. I probably have stories from after the end of the world, even though I probably don't exist at that point. I can see in the future. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's the end of our time and session today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about Paradox, and I hope to see you another time. Yeah. So that's all the time we have for today, and that's all I'm going to give you. I hope you found Equinox pretty interesting and some world building. For now, that's all. Please, leave my office. I have things to do. I have food to eat. I'm hungry. It's been a long day. So thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye now.